से करना है। गायत्री, हाँ, गायत्री पढ़ा था लास्ट टाइम। गायत्री, स्तुति, संध्या,
अच्छा,
सावित्री, हाँ, सावित्री, पदाश्रया।
सावित्री, सत्कृति,
त्रिपदाश्रया।
सत्कृति,
सावित्री,
संध्या।
पदाश्रया।
सावित्री, सत्कृति, संध्या से करना है श्राप।
हाँ हाँ, नहीं नहीं, गायत्री से ही शुरू करेंगे, फिर आगे ये करेंगे।
अच्छा, अच्छा। गायत्री, सत्कृति, संध्या, सावित्री, सावित्री, त्रिपदाश्रया, त्रिसंध्या, त्रिपदी, दात्री, सुपर्वा, समगायिनी, पांचाली, बालिका, बाला, बाला क्रीड़ा, सनातनी, गर्भधार, दरा, शून्या, गर्भशय्य निवासिनी, सुरारी, गतिनी, कृत्या, पूतना, चितलोत्तमा। नेक्स्ट पेज। लज्जा, लज्जा, रसवती, नंदा, भवानी, पापनाशिनी, पट्टांबरधरा, गीति, सुगतिर्ज्ञानलोचना, सप्तस्वरमयी, तंत्री, षड्जम, मध्यम, देवता, दैवता, मूर्छाना, ग्राम समस्थाना, स्वस्था, स्वस्थ, सथान, वासिनी, अटाटहासिनी, प्रेता, प्रेता, सन्न, निवासिनी, गीत, नृत्य, प्रिया, कामा, तुष्टदा, पुष्टदा, क्षेया, निष्ठा, सत्य, प्रिया, प्रज्ञा, लोकेशी, च सरोत्तमा, सविश्वजालिनी, ज्वाला, विश्वमोहार्तिनाशिनी, विश्यारीर्नागदमिनी, च कुरो कुरो कुलोल, अमृतद्भवा, भूता, बीत, हरा, रक्षा, भूता, वैश्य, विनाशिनी, रक्तोगिनी, राक्षसी, रक्तोगिनी, राक्षसी, रात्रि, दीर्घ निद्रा, दिवागती।
बस इधर तक ही करेंगे। हाँ हाँ, ठीक है ठीक है। तो लास्ट टाइम हमने गायत्री किया था, अब यहाँ शेखर जी श्रुति।
सुकृति, सकृति, गायत्री, सकृति।
First, greetings to all the members here for the Gupta Navaratri. The Gupta Navaratri starts from today. So the last nama was Gayatri. Gayantam Prayate iti Gayatri. That which has the power to protect all those who contemplate upon her. The most important thing is contemplation. Even though the mantra sadhana involves 3 levels, initially the sadhaka is given the mantra and he is asked to repeat the mantra. The next stage of elevation that the Guru brings the Sishya is by giving the mantra artha, by teaching the meaning of the mantra. While teaching the meaning of the mantra, he will also teach the equation between the various letters or the sound elements of the mantra, and each mantra is presided over by a devata, and that devata has a description which we call as the dhyana shloka. This mantra's letter components have a direct correlation with the dhyana shloka of the particular devata. So it will actually be a representation of the various limbs of the devata as described in the dhyana shloka, which will be reflected in the mantra itself. So this will be taught to the Sishya at the second stage. along with the primary meaning of the mantra. Finally, the third level of elevation comes when the Guru teaches the Vasanatmaka Dhyana of the mantra, that is, the Tattvartha Anusandhana of the mantra. All the mantras we have seen in our system are conscious entities, not mere sounds, capable of uplifting the sadhaka to the state of realizing oneself as Shiva, the supreme, the seventh level of Paramatma himself. Even though the mantras are the third level of Pramata amongst the Saptarmamatra Varga classification as laid down by Acharya Kshemaraja and Pratyabhijna Hridaya, they are capable of uplifting the sadhaka who is at the bottommost, that is the Sakala Pramata level, to the Shiva Pramata level. This is done through the Anusandhana of the Vasana. This Anusandhana or this understanding the Vasana of each of these mantras is referred to by Trayate in the word Gayatri. So, Gayantam Trayate means that power to elevate the Sakala Pramata level to understand that he is Shiva Pramata himself. That is done through the Vimarsha Shakti, which is Devi herself. She is Gayatri. The next nama is Satkritihi. Sat Kritihi. Kr, to do, to act. Satkriti. Normally we will understand Satkriti as good actions, noble actions. Any action done with a noble intent. It is Satkriti. That is why when some guests or we receive someone, whatever we do to make them comfortable, make them happy, we call it as Satkara. No? Satkara. So Satkara is the noun form of Satkriti. So Satkriti is anything done, any action done with a noble intent. That is a Satkriti. But here, what is the implication of the Nama Satkriti referring to Devi? Sat is one of the three identities or the Swarupa, the form of Parashiva himself. When the Upanishads declare Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means that which is existence. Chit, that which is consciousness. Ananda, that which is blissful. The difference between understanding of the Sat, Chit, Ananda in our system and in some other systems, especially Shankara's Advaita system, is that in Shankara's Advaita, Brahman is not endowed with the power to act. Here, Parashiva is Parashiva because he can act. He is endowed with that Paraswatantriya Shakti, that independent agency. And it is this Paraswatantriya Shakti that assumes the various forms of Ichha, Jnana, Kriya, etc., which we will see it continued in the next few namas. So the power to act is the most important or the key element which makes Shiva, Shiva. He is not static. He is absolute dynamic principle, which is emphasized in some other names such as Spanda. When we call Parashiva as Spanda, vibrant. Vibrant is, you cannot take away movement or activity from vibrancy. So the power to act is most important. So Satkritihi, Devi, is not just Satswarupa, but she is that Kri, that power to act, which results in the entire emanation and the dissolution of the universe. When she decides to conceal, it results in the Srishti. When she decides to realize herself, it results in Samhara. So the entire Srishti and Samhara Krama are independently performed by Parashiva. The very first Karika of Spandakarika, in the benedictory verse of Spandakarika, this element of this characteristic of Shiva is emphasized when we say the Yasya Unmesha Nimeshabhyam Jagatah Pralayodayau. Jagataha Pralaya and Udaya. The dissolution of the Jagat and the Udaya, the manifestation of the Jagat, is by whose Unmesha Nimesha. Unmesha Nimesha is normally winking of the eyes. Okay, opening is Unmesha, closing is Nimesha. Intrinsically linked to activity. So it is she who is responsible for the activity which is inseparable from Parashiva. So one who is the Kriyatmaka Shakti of Satswarupa Shiva. That is the meaning of Satkriti. And what is the meaning of Sat? Existence. Trikala Badhyata Sat. That which is existing in all the three so-called divisions of time. The reason of so-called division is because time is factually, even in the darshanas, they are very, very clear that time does not or is indivisible. What we call as the past, present, and future are completely relative terms. Even in our Vyavahara, if we take, say for example, today is the 6th of July. As far as from the point of view of 6th of July, 5th of July is past and 7th of July is future. The moment we step into 7th of July, 6th, which was present, now becomes past. So Kala is always relative. So Trikala Abadhya, that which is existing, that which cannot be negated in any of the three divisions of time, that is called as Sat. So which is ever existent. What can be ever existent is that which is free from any vikalpas, free from any external superimpositions. So that Swarupa is Shiva. The power of act, power of acting embedded with Shiva is Devi as Vimarsha. So she is Satkritihi. Satkritihi. The next nama is Sandhya. Sandhya, twilights are normally called as Sandhya. The dawn and the dusk. Why? Because the nama Sandhya comes from the dhatu Sandh, to join. So when we speak of dawn, it is where the night and the daybreak, we can see the elements of both the night and the daybreak during that particular twilight hour. Similarly in the dusk also. So it is called as Sandhya. Okay. So when Devi is called as Sandhya, it is not with respect to the juncture of time. Devi is called as Sandhya from a much higher perspective. One who is responsible, or one who is in between the two, is Sandhya. Okay. In texts like Vijnana Bhairava or Pratyabhijna Hridaya, there are some things, some things which is described as the upayas, the means. And in Pratyabhijna Hridaya, the upayas are for attaining the Madhyama Avastha, the core, reaching one's core. He makes a list of, or he describes in detail 7 such upayas. He mentions 2 upayas without giving much detail. And he says there are so many other upayas which one has to learn from one's Guru Parampara or from the other texts such as Vijnana Bhairava. So, amongst these upayas, there are many of the upayas which will speak about how to reach this Madhyama Avastha. And the emphasis on those, for practice of those upayas is to be very, very keenly observant of when a cognitive activity ends and the next cognitive activity starts. In between the two, there is, I shouldn't use split second or anything because they are all units of time. There is one stage where there is no such activity, where when we say there is no activity, there is no possibility of any vikalpa. It is in that time one can rest in his core, that is in his Madhyama Avastha. And the upaya teaches us how to expand that Madhyama Avastha, how to be in that Madhyama Avastha, how to be established in one's core for a longer time. And it also speaks about how one should come out, or how one should emerge from that state, and how one should maintain that the state of being during the emergence and all those. So Sandhya refers to the Madhyama Avastha, where there is an end of a cognitive activity and there is a start of the next cognitive activity. In between, there is that pause where there are no vikalpas. That is Sandhya. So she is Sandhya. This is one. The other, we speak of Parashiva to be the nature of Prakasha, Jnana or illumination. We speak of Devi as Vimarsha, the power to reflect. Prakasha is called as the Shweta Bindu. Vimarsha is called as the Rakta Bindu. Prakasha is one dot. Vimarsha is the 2 dots. All this we can figuratively imagine on the top of, in the letter E of Sharada script. Okay, there is one top bindu. There are 2 bindus which are below that. The first is the Prakasha bindu. The second, or Shweta, the second set of 2 bindus are the Vimarsha bindus. There is one straight line and triangle. The straight line and the triangle is the reflection and manifestation of the Jagat. It is called as Saparardha Kala. It is called as the Saparardha Kala. Sapara Ardha. Sapara means square. Sapara Ardha means half of square, which is triangle. So that triangle represents the reflection as the manifested world. because we believe in Pratibimbavada. Our school of thought is Pratibimbavada. We are not for the Vivartavada of the Shankaradvaita. Ours is the Pratibimbavada. So it is a reflection, and reflection in the form of the triangle. So it is the same triangle which is there as the Tribindu Swarupa is reflected proper conjunction of the lines which join the vertices, okay, which forms. Because during the manifestation, what happens is there are connections with the intermediate tattvas. Because of the contraction becoming heavy and heavy and heavy, as we move down the tattva scheme, it becomes more and more concrete. That is why the three bindus are seen as the 3 points being connected by those 3 lines. Now, the entire representation is what is called as the Kamakala. This Kamakala Swarupa of Devi is the property of the Sandhya, the junction. That is, the Rakta and Shukla, when they combine, it forms the Mishra Bindu. The Mishra Bindu's color is normally spoken of as pink. When you combine the white and red, what we get is the pink. The Mishra Bindu, which is represented by the Saparardha, is the pink. And when we call Devi as Sandhya, this is the second way of looking at the Nama. When we call Devi as Sandhya, she is the manifested Prapancha, which is the Mishra Bindu Swarupa, which is formed by the conjunction of the Prakasha Bindu and the 2 Vimarsha Bindus. So she is Sandhya. So she is Sandhya.
Savitri.
Savitri. Oh, sorry. Savitri. The form, this is a feminine form of the masculine gender word Savita. Normally, Savita is used in the Vedika terminology to refer to Surya. Savita comes from the dhatu Sunj Prani Prasave. Sunj is the dhatu. What is the meaning of the dhatu Sunj? Prani Prasave. That which is the act of sustaining the life. So when we refer to Surya as Savita, he is the sustainer of the life on the earth. Earth in the sense, the entire ecosystem around the sun. So he is Savita. Because we know without sun, no life is possible. So he is Savita. So the power of Savita is Savitri. The Shakti of Savita is called as Savitri. Just as the Shakti of Brahma is Brahmi, Shakti of Vishnu is Vaishnavi. Similarly, the Shakti of Savita is Savitri. So she is sustaining the life through the Surya. Going one step ahead, we offer the Arghya to Surya during the Sandhya. Be it the Vaidika Sandhya or be it the Tantrika Sandhya. For those who have undergone an Diksha, those who have been given the Mantropadesha as per the procedure, they have to perform the Tantriki Sandhya also. So Tantriki Sandhya is like Vaidika Sandhya performed, unlike the Vaidika Sandhya, it is performed 4 times. Vaidika Sandhya is performed only 3 times. Tantrika Sandhya is performed during the morning, that is in the dawn, during the midday, the Madhyana, during the evening, and there is a 4th, which is called as a Turiya Sandhya, in the midnight. So the Tantrika Sandhya, which when we perform, in all, both in the Vaidika and in the Tantrika thing, though the Arghya is offered to Surya, we don't stop short there. After offering it to the Surya, who is the mandala, okay, the orb that we see in the sky, there is someone who is inside the Surya, one who is actually the life-giving power stationed within the Surya. Depending on the sampradaya, it is either Vishnu. When you have the shloka, Dhyayet Sada Savitramandala Madhyamarti Narayanaha Sarsijasana Sannivishtaha. In that sampradaya, it is Vishnu uh, who is contemplated as being inside the Surya Mandala. In the Shaiva Sampradaya, like ours, it is Shiva who is contemplated as living or as residing within the Surya Mandala. So the Arghya is offered again to the Devata who is presiding over the Surya Mandala. That Devata is actually giving the Shakti to the Surya to sustain life. So in the Tantriki Sandhya, we will be offering Arghya first 3 times to Surya, then again 3 times to Shiva or Devi, depending on what is the Diksha. So that power is what is referred by the Nama Savitri. Either it's the Parashiva or Devi herself, who resides within the Surya Mandala. So she is Savitri, one who sustains the life through the Savita, through the sun. So she is Savitri. And from the Sandhya point of view, the morning, during the Pratah Sandhya, the Devi is called as Savitri. The Devi is called as Savitri. During the Madhyanika Sandhya, she is called as Gayatri. During the Sayam Sandhya, she is called as Saraswati. So the Devi is referred by these 3 names as per the different timing of the Sandhya. That is that. But for our usage, Savitri is the Devata who is the Shakti behind the Surya Mandala, which sustains the life. So Savitri. Next is Tripadashraya. Tripada Ashraya. Pada means feet. Tripada Ashraya, one who rests in 3 feet. When we take the Savitri Gayatri mantra, because we should be now familiar when we use certain terminologies. Otherwise, the general usage is like, acha, ye Gayatri mantra hai. Gayatri is fine. Gayatri is the name of the meter. But to be technically correct and sound, we have to say that the mantra which we normally call as the Gayatri mantra is called as Savitri Gayatri. It is called as Savitri Gayatri because each Devata has a Gayatri. Each Devata has its own Gayatri mantra. There is a Shaiva Gayatri mantra also. There is a Shakta Gayatri mantra also. Like that. So it is the Savitri Gayatri mantra. Whatever be it, the moment we say Gayatri mantra, Gayatri has 3 lines or feet, as we call. Each feet having 8 letters. So let us, when we count this, we will have to set aside the 3 Vyahritis, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. Those are the 3 Vyahritis. They are not part of the mantra. They are added before. What follows next? Savitur Varenyam. Onwards. Till Prachodayat. That is the Savitri Gayatri mantra. And when we count the letters, we will find that there are 8 letters in each of the pada. And for chanting the Savitri Gayatri, one has to learn the method of chanting also. Now, for all the mantras, especially the Savitri Gayatri as well. It has to have Pancha Vishrantis, that is, pauses at 5 places. One cannot simply chant it continuously like this. No, there should be pauses at 5 places. First pause is after the Omkar. The second pause is after the 3 Vyahritis. Then the pause after the 3 padas. So there are 5 pauses. This is called as Panchashirsha Upanayana. The Gayatri Mantra, when chanted with these Panchashirsha Upanayana alone, brings the necessary benefit. So this Tripada, okay, coming to the Nama. Tripada, all the Gayatri Mantras have these 8 into 3. 3 feet having 8. So what are these 3 into 8? What does it signify? It signifies 24 tattvas. Starting from the Prakriti Tattva till the Prithvi. These are the 24 tattvas. So the 3 padas of Gayatri, they stand for the 24 tattvas. For those who have undergone Shiva Diksha or Shakta Diksha, one more pada of Gayatri is added to the Gayatri Mantra itself. It is called as the Turiya pada. That will also have 8 letters. It is called as Paro Rajase Savat Om. That is the Turiya pada. This is also from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad only. The Turiya pada is added for the Dikshitas alone, which leads till the 32nd, that is the Shuddha Vidya Tattva. Till the Shuddha Vidya Tattva. So this, when we call Devi as Tripadashraya, we are referring to Devi as one who is responsible for, or who rests for the working of the universe on these 24 tattvas. Because when we see these 24 tattvas, they are nothing starting from the Prakriti onwards till the grosser, that is the Panchabhutas will be there, then the Tanmatras will be there, the Indriyas will be there and all that. So the gross universe, the manifested universe that we see as the prameya, as the object of cognition and the instruments for knowing, is resting in this 24. The rest, they are all forms of pramata. They are all forms of cognizers. All the other tattvas are forms of cognizers. So, when we call Devi as Tripada Ashraya, for the manifested universe, she brings forth the 24 tattvas, which act or which function as the karana, that is the instruments of knowing, and the prameyas, that is the objects of cognition. Paramata is the one who is above the Turiya. The one who is above Turiya. He is the Turiya Atita. To emphasize that aspect of Devi, she is called as Tripadashraya. We can have for each of the letter of the Savitri Gayatri Mantra, a lot of explanations are offered in very many texts. where it is mapped to the different bhuvanas, okay, the different worlds, and the other tattvas as well. So, not going into all those details, but to understand that when we call Devi as Tripadashraya, she who manifests herself as these 24 tattvas, which is observed and which helps us in engaging. Why engaging? Because the whole Srishti is explained in our system as the Leela, as a play of Shiva. Because there is no other explanation why Shiva chooses to conceal himself. We only call it as Leela. He chooses to conceal himself because he is independent and he wishes to do it that way. That's all. So she is Tripadashraya. Trisandhya. Am I right, Maura? Yes. Trisandhya. Next nama is Trisandhya. So the three junction points, the morning, the afternoon, that is the Madhyanika Sandhya, and the evening, that is the Sayam Sandhya. So she is Trisandhya. What is the significance of this specific time? We have seen the nama why Devi is Sandhya. Then why again the nama Trisandhya is used? In the nama Trisandhya, it is that time aspect which is highlighted. One who is worshipped during three Sandhyas. It's not referring to Devi as the Trisandhya. It is Devi who is worshipped during the three Sandhyas. So, we have seen that in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, we worship the Devi in proper, no, there is a proper methodology for performing the Sandhya and all that. There is also a mantra bheda. That is, for the morning, the mantra is different. For the afternoon, the mantra is slightly different. For the evening, the mantra is slightly different. Now, there are a few sampradayas where there is a slight change in what I am saying. But normally, this thing is found in the Mula Tantras themselves. And it is these three times which were actually picked up. And the three mantras which are chanted, or the three bijaksharas whose essence are chanted during these three Sandhya times, they were taken up by Laghu Bhattaraka when he started off his Laghustavi, or the first set of in the Panchastavi. So when he says, Aindrasyeva Sharasanasya Dadhati Madhye Lalata Prabha Chauklim Kantim Anushnagauhu Iva Chirasya Atanvati Sarvataha Esha Asau Tripura Hridi Dyuti Iva Humshoho Sada Ahasthita Chinna Chidyat Naha Sahasa Padaihi Tribhihi Agham Jyotirmayi Vangmayi. It's a very, very powerful shloka. Why we choose Laghustavi for Nitya Parayana is because of the very strong Mantra Shastra element which is encapsulated, which is like hidden very, very deep within these shlokas. Looks like as a stotra, but it is a Mantra Shastra by itself. So, in this first verse, when he says, Chidyat Naha Sahasa Padaihi Tribhihi, using the three padas, or through the three padas, may she dispel, chidyat, may she cut, may she remove, sahasa, immediately. The one who has really understood the tattva behind the three padas or the three bijas, for him, this cutting away happens immediately. And what does what is being cut away? Agham. The three sins. Sin is not the normal papa sin. The three refers, or the three agha refers to three malas: the anava, the karmika, and the mayika. The moment the three malas are gone, we lose our sakala pramatritva, we become Shiva Pramat. It is when we lose one after the other, we rise up the ladder of the pramatritva, the 7 levels of cognizers. So Sakala Pramata has all the three in its full capacity. As we progress up the ladder, we will start slowly losing the Mayika Mala. Then we will slowly lose the Karmika Mala. The last to go will be the Anava Mala. The moment Anava Mala goes, one becomes Shiva himself. So Tribhihi Agham Chidyat. She removes the three aghas. How? Through the three bijas. The three bijas are also there in the same shloka. Even though it is not, or when we cannot make out the three bijas as such. So when he says, Aindrasya Sharasanasya iva prabham dadhati shirasi. So that is the first bija. Then, Anushnagoho Shauklim Kantim Sarvataha Atanvatim Hridi Ahah Sthita Madhye Lalatam Ushnamshoho Dyutihi Sthita. That is the third. The three bijas are Aim, Kleem, and Sauhu. This Aim, Kleem, and Sauhu are called as the Tripura bijas. The three bijas of Devi Bala Tripura Sundari. And it is the three bijas which will expand into the Shrimad Panchadashakshari Vidya, the 15 letter mantra of Devi Tripura Sundari herself. So it is these three bijas which are contemplated in three different places, which are conjunctions. Okay, the three places which are the conjunctions, which is called as the Sandhya. So Sandhya is not just the external time space, but it is also the internal time space. Within one's body, where do we contemplate on these three Bijaksharas? The places where we contemplate these three Bijaksharas is a junction of one mandala with the other mandala. It is where the where the Agni mandala and the Surya mandala combine. Where the Surya mandala and the Soma mandala combine. Where the Soma mandala ends and then starts the Binduadi Navaka. So that is the third place. So they are also Sandhi, or they are also Sandhyas. So when she is contemplated, or one who is contemplated during the Sandhya, so she is Tri Sandhya. Okay. The next nama is Tripadi.
Tripadi Dhatri.
Tripadi. One who possesses three padas. One who is possessing the three padas. What are the three padas? When we saw the meaning of the word Tripura, we saw that there is no limit to define what the three is. The three can be anything starting from Ichha Jnana Kriya, Satya Chitta Ananda, anything that can be Jnatri Jnaya and Jnana. So anything that can be expressed as a set of three, it references Tripura. For this also, Raghubhattaraka has one shloka in Nagustari. So she is Tripadi, that is, she exists as sets of multiple threes. She exists as the set of multiple threes. So she is Tripadi. Tripadi. Next nama is Dhatri. Dha, Dhiyate, one who holds. Dhatri, one who supports. So she is the support of the world. One who is the support of the world. How does Devi support the world? She is that canvas on which the manifested world in its all variated colors and forms and expressions are expressed. But without the canvas or without the wall, nothing can be done. So she is Dhatri because she is that wall on which all the other projection takes place. Wall, that is the back, the support is permanent. The projected images are all temporary, who have no independent existence other than the existence of the support itself, the Adhara itself. So she is that Adhara. And this is the second sutra of Pratyabhijnartya. So when Acharya wants to describe about the cosmology as per the Trika Siddhanta, he uses this example of a wall and painting. So she is Dhatri, the support. Suparva. Parva means nodes. Now, when we have the fingers, these are the nodes. They are called as the parva. Or when we take a bamboo or a sugar cane, what we see as the nodes, they are called as parva in Sanskrit. Once again, parva means where two things join. The term for festivals, a very good term for festivals in Sanskrit is parva, which is used in Hindi also. Now, when we say the parva, why is it called as parva? Most of our festivals, apart from the significance from the religious or the legendary tales, they also served a practical purposes. India was basically an agrarian society, an agriculture-based society, depended on agriculture. It does not mean we were rural society. We were urban society, which was agrarian in nature. This is one mistake which many of the historical writings carry. They project the ancient Indian society as an rural society. Unfortunately, they all do this because either they have not read any of the primary texts, or they don't want to showcase the greatness of the society as it was. When we look at the primary texts, which are either directly concerned with Vastu, like Vastu Karma Samuchaya, or texts written by authors like Raja Bhoja, the great king of the Paramaras, who ruled during the 10th, 11th century. He wrote a magnum opus by name Samarangana Sutradhara. Samarangana Sutradhara is, Bhoja was a prolific writer. He wrote on almost every and any subject that was available during his time. Not many people really even speak about Bhoja. And importantly, Bhoja was a Parama Maheshwara. He called himself as Parama Maheshwara. He authored a text by name Tattva Sangraha, which is considered as the one among the Ashtamura Granthas of Shaiva Siddhanta. Even today, when we read Shaiva Siddhanta, Bhoja's text is one of the 8 primary texts to be read by the Shaiva Siddhantas. So he also wrote very much on technical treatises. It's called as Yukti Kalpataru, shipbuilding, mechanical contrivances, robots, all that. Okay, coming to Samarangana Sutradhara. In Samarangana Sutradhara, planning, urban planning, rural planning, planning of the meta design, everything is dealt in detail. There are other texts like Mayamata, which also speaks. When we read all these texts, we can understand that right, we were not some backward rural society. We were very advanced urban society which depended on agriculture. It's an agrarian urban society setting. So most of the festivals were planned when the agricultural activity was at a low, either at the end of the harvest or after the crops have been planted and there is a gap, or when there is a heavy monsoon wherein you cannot carry out any of the agricultural activities actively. Both the 2 seasonal crops, the Kharif and the Rabi, both. So we will have these festivals laid out during these periods where the agricultural activity was the least. So the festivals were called as the Parva because they fell at a point where the agricultural activity was at the least. No? So that is why they were called as Parva. Makar Sankranti is one best example to do. Makar Sankranti is celebrated all over India post-harvest. So there is a break after the harvest. It is a Parva because it is falling after the end of one crop season and before the start of the next crop season. So it is happening in between. Therefore, it is Parva. Like this. So the festivals were called as Parva. So Parva is a conjunction, okay, between 2 such activities. So when we call Devi as Suparva, one who is celebrated or one who is worshipped with all fanfare during these great festivals. That is one way of interpreting the Nama Suparva. Other way of interpreting the Nama Suparva is one who is at the junction between 2 astronomical events. Because when we take up our Panchanga, normally the Tithi and other systems are there. There is something called Devi Mana Ashtanga. There is a calculation which is based on Devi Mana, which is popular amongst the Shakta Sampradayas. Just like the Panchanga has 5, Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana. These are the 5, therefore it is Panchanga. There will be 8 Angas. So when we take out the Ashtanga Prakriya, Ashtanga, in the Devi Mana Ashtanga, 1 year consists of 36 months. It consists of 36 months, referring to the 36 Tattvas. And each month will have 36 days. And each of these days will have one particular letter. One particular letter. Letter from the Matrikas. So there will be certain occasions wherein the Masa and the Tithi will have the same letter. So where it joins, that is the same letter, like for example, Ka Masa, Tithi. So when they join, it becomes one parva. Like this, there are some multiple combinations. The year and the month, the year and the day, the year and the ritu, like this. So she is also worshipped in a special, on such special occasions, following the Ashtanga calculations. So she is called as Suparva. But this Ashtanga is only known and practiced amongst the Shakta Sampradayas, including the Shri Vidya Sampradayas. They follow the Ashtanga along with the Pancham. So she is Suparva, the special occasions or the special festivities. Suparva. Samagayini, one who is worshipped through the chants of the Sama Veda. Samagayini. You're all very familiar with the Vibhuti Yoga passage from Bhagavad Gita when Bhagavan says, Vedanam Sama Vedosmi. Amongst the Vedas, I am the Sama Veda. What is Sama? Sama is the singing of the metrical composition. So we have already seen what is Rik, what is Yajush, and what is Sama. So Sama will be nothing but a musical representation of all the Riks, of the mantras of the Rig Veda. That is the Sama. And Sama is always sung a bit loudly. So it's called as Chair Samnaha. The Sama Veda should not be, recited very, very slowly or things like that. So Uchchair Samnaha. Why does she like Samagana? There are many types of Gana, such as Vamadeva, Stotra, Stobha, and all those different forms of singing. So why does she like Samagana? This is the special path of yoga called as Nada Yoga, where we contemplate on the rhythmic capacity of the sound. And this external Nada is also contemplated by the yogis internally. There are different pitch at which the sounds vibrate in the different chakras. And there is one chakra where there is an eternal sound which emanates, which can be heard during the Turiya Sandhya. Now, this is the connection to the Turiya Sandhya. Why a Turiya Sandhya for the Dikshitas? Because in the Turiya Sandhya, it is said this inner sound is heard the best. And this inner sound is called as Anahata Nada. And Anahata Nada emanates from the Anahata Chakra, which is the heart. And the Devi who presides over this Anahata Nada is called as Devi Varahi. This Gupta Navaratri is dedicated to Devi Varahi. So Devi Varahi, just like during the Varaha Avatara, Lord Vishnu lifted the earth on his two fangs and brought it out. The contemplation on the Anahata Nada using the Upasti of Devi Varahi will help a person to bring out the Anahata Nada from the Anahata Chakra up till the Agnya, and then up above the Agnya through the Binduadi Namaka Sthanas. This is called as the Nada Yoga. And for attaining or to reach a perfection in Nada Yoga, one should be familiar with basic principles of music, which is laid down by the Samaveda. That is why music is also considered as one of the upayas for attaining once or for knowing for attaining Atma Sakshatkar. All the great composers, the saint singers, we should slightly differentiate them from those who compose for sake of money. The saint singers, they were all able to practice this Nada Yoga and realize the divinity through that. So she is that upaya by which the practice of Nada Yoga is possible, and to hint that the Nama is Samagayini. Because without Samaveda, there is no music, or there is no knowledge of music possible in our knowledge traditions. So Samagayini. We'll stop here. Next Nama is, I think, Panchali.
Yeah, we can stop here, Shekhar ji.
Dhanyavad.
Yeah, धन्यवाद. Thank you so much. Namaskar, everybody.